Hello again, and welcome back to the Latex Modified Concrete Working Group and our continuing series on the use of HPLMC. Thanks for joining us. I'm Pat Martins with Bridge Preservation and Inspection Services reporting for the working group. Today we will be looking at some of the intangibles of the latex itself in the HPLMC mix. In particular, some of the considerations for storing and using the latex modifier at high and low temperatures. Depending on the size of the job, latex is supplied in drums, totes, or bulk storage tanks. This material may be shipped to the site many weeks before its use. While latex will not lose its homogeneity during extended storage periods, separation may occur. For periods of storage beyond 2 weeks, agitation or recirculation of the material is recommended. HPLMC is installed at a maximum temperature of 85 degrees Fahrenheit. That includes the ambient temperature, the deck temperature, and the concrete temperature. It is suggested to store latex at a temperature less than 85 degrees Fahrenheit, but if the emulsion is allowed to exceed that temperature, it will not have an adverse effect on the product within limits. It should not exceed 105 degrees Fahrenheit during storage. Be aware, though, that the temperature of the latex introduced into the mix could have an effect on the total concrete temperature. Cooling of the latex and the other components of the concrete may be desirable to help drive down the mix temperature in very warm weather. Likewise, in colder temperatures, it is necessary to monitor the temperature of the latex emulsion too. While the modifier has excellent freeze-thaw capabilities, freezing of the material still needs to be avoided. The latex emulsion should be stored in an insulated enclosure to protect it. If it does partially freeze, however, it can still be used. It first needs to be slowly thawed, though. Never use a hot local heat source to thaw material. It is desirable that the latex emulsion is at a minimum temperature of 50 degrees Fahrenheit for use. If the material temperature is less than that, it does not mean the product cannot be used, but again, its temperature will have an effect on the overall concrete mix temperature. The temperature of the other ingredients within the mixture will contribute to the final mix temperature. The minimum installation temperature of the HPLMC is normally specified at 45 degrees Fahrenheit, or 40 degrees Fahrenheit and rising if the expected temperature will remain above 45 degrees Fahrenheit for the first 8 hours of the wet curing period. You will want to check with the latex supplier and the specific agency on their cold temperature concrete installation requirements. The other important thing to remember about lower temperatures is that during the wet curing of HPLMC, if the temperature under the curing mats do happen to dip below 45 degrees Fahrenheit, it is not a cause for concern. The number of hours that the temperature is below 45 degrees Fahrenheit simply needs to be added to the wet cure period to extend it. In other words, all the necessary wet cure time must be within the required temperature range. It is important that the latex is an onboard feature of the mobile mixing unit, but also kept separate from other ingredients until the time of mixing. The latex should not be blended with other brands of latex. If the latex is transferred from its original storage container, it needs to be in a dry, clean container free from contamination in order for it to be used. When field sampling of the product is desired, certain steps must be adhered to in order to make sure a representative sample is collected. This includes proper agitation or recirculation, an initial amount of material flushed from the system prior to pulling the sample, and that clean collection containers are used. While the mix design is generally the responsibility of the installer, be aware that the latex supplier can provide support in this area to help with the design of the HPLMC. And that is going to wrap up our discussion for this week. I hope that you found the information from this week's topic to be helpful. Join us next week as we are going to look more closely at dense concrete overlay options and why HPLMC is the preferred choice. If you have a specific question about the storage, temperature, or use of latex in HPLMC, please feel free to drop us a line at the working group's email address at lmcwg@bridgepreservation.net. Follow us on the LMC Working Group social media sites too. Hey, let's continue to extend the life of our bridge decks by preserving them with HPLMC overlays. See you next time.